Listen, let me tell you about Emeka. This man, living in Akpele village. You know the type of village where if you sneeze in your bedroom, your neighbor 3 compounds away will say, "Bless you," before you even finish wiping your nose. That kind of tight-knit, everybody in your business, no secrets allowed village. The type of village where your business is everybody's business, and everybody's business is the evening entertainment.
Now, Emeka had a belly that was doing its own thing entirely. I'm talking about the type of belly that entered rooms 5 minutes before the rest of him arrived. The type of belly that needed its own introduction. Good evening, this is Emeka's belly. Emeka himself will arrive shortly. The man was a yam farmer, and honestly, it looked like he had been eating more yams than he was selling. His wife would joke that he was his own best customer. But he was a good man, you hear. Hardworking, funny, the type that would give you his last kobo if you needed it. His best friend was Tunde. Tall, lean, looking like a well-used broom. The kind of skinny where if he turned sideways, he could hide behind a broomstick. Children used to ask him, "Uncle Tunde, don't they feed you at home?" And he would reply, "They feed me, but the food is still looking for where to stay in my body." Palm wine tapper by profession. These two were like brothers. Where you saw Emeka, Tunde was not far behind. Like shadow and body, like Gary and sugar, like mosquito and malaria. But here's the thing about Tunde. The man had sense. Common sense that God gave him for free, and he actually used it, unlike some people who returned theirs for a refund.
But let me tell you about Emeka's real blessing. His wife, Adaeze. This woman was the type that could stretch 2 cups of rice to feed 12 people and still have leftovers for the next day. Jesus multiplied bread and fish, but Adaeze could multiply rice and stew. The woman had miracle hands. Patient? Patient is an understatement. The woman had perfected the art of closing one eye to her husband's foolishness, while still keeping the other eye sharp enough to run the entire household. She had a PhD in husband management with a minor in creative budgeting. "You are blessed, my brother," Tunde would tell Emeka as they sat under the big Iroko tree in the village square. "Your wife is gold." Better than gold, Emeka would add with pride. Gold cannot cook jollof rice. Gold cannot press your clothes. Gold cannot tell you welcome when you come home. My wife can do all 3 and still have energy to insult me when I deserve it. And they would laugh. Emeka completely unaware that he was about to test his wife's patience in ways that would make the ancestors shake their heads. Now, it was the 2nd week of December when trouble rolled into Akpele village on expensive shoes. And trouble's name was Kazim. This man, he had left the village 10 years ago as a struggling Okada rider with slippers that had more holes than a church roof. The type of slippers where your toes were greeting the ground directly, and came back dressed like he was about to collect a Grammy Award or perform at the BET Awards. Sunglasses that probably cost more than a healthy goat. Shoes so shiny you could see your future in them, though if you looked closely, you'd see the future wasn't looking that bright. And a phone that never stopped ringing with what he called international business calls. Yes, the shipment from Dubai. No, tell them 50 containers, not 40. Kazim would say loudly as he walked through the village, loud enough for everyone to hear, loud enough for the deaf man at the end of the street to catch some of it. The man's voice had its own megaphone. Nobody knew exactly what Kazim did in Lagos, but the man had money, or at least he looked like he had money, which in a village like Akpele was basically the same thing. Within days, Kazim had gathered a group of men around him like flies to honey, or like mosquitoes to a sleeping person, or like villagers to free beer. He called them the Executive Council, like they were running the United Nations or planning to invade a small country. They would meet every evening at Mama Caro's beer parlor, drinking cold beer in a village where most people drank warm beer that tasted like punishment. Cold beer was like seeing a miracle. They would laugh loud enough to wake the ancestors, slap each other's backs, and plan what they called Detty December. Emeka would watch from the Iroko tree, and I'm telling you, something was growing in his chest. envy, longing, the feeling you get when you're eating beans and your neighbor is eating fried chicken with extra chicken. Those men are really enjoying life, Emeka said one evening, his eyes glued to Mama Carol's like a child watching a candy store. Tunde replied, and that had warning bells in it. That was the type that meant, my friend is about to do something stupid and I can see it coming. When last did I enjoy myself, properly enjoy myself, Emeka continued, more to himself than to Tunde.
You enjoy yourself every day, Tunde said carefully. You have a good wife, healthy children, a farm that's doing well. That's not what I mean. I mean real enjoyment, big man enjoyment, cold beer, nice clothes, people calling you sharp guy. Tunde looked at his friend like he was watching someone walk toward a cliff while whistling happily. Emeka, those men don't even know you. And that Kazim, something about him doesn't smell right. He's too flashy, too loud, like perfume trying to cover body odor. You know what they say about empty barrels? They make the most noise. And that Kazim is sounding like a full drum set. But Emeka wasn't listening. He was too busy watching Kazim's gold chain catch the evening light, too busy hearing the laughter from Mama Carol's, too busy feeling like he was missing out on life.
The next day, and this is where everything started going downhill, like a car with failed brakes, no steering, and a driver who was texting, Kazim approached Emeka directly. "My brother," Kazim shouted, arms spread wide like he was welcoming the president or preparing to hug a tree. "Why you dey hide under tree like grandfather, like old man waiting for death to remember his address? Come join the executive council. We need sharp guys like you." Sharp guy. Nobody had called Emeka sharp in years. The last time someone called him sharp, it was his wife being sarcastic after he walked into a door he himself had opened 5 seconds earlier. "I don't know," Emeka said, but his voice betrayed him. It had that hesitant tone of someone who was already convinced but wanted to pretend they were still thinking about it. "What's there to know?" Kazim laughed, that big rehearsed laugh, the kind of laugh that sounded like it had been practicing in front of a mirror. "Ha ha 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 ha, very organized, very calculated. We're just enjoying ourselves, living our best life. December 15th, we start proper. Detty December. You want to die without enjoying your youth? You want your grandchildren to ask, what did Papa do in his prime? And your answer will be, I farmed yam? No, you need stories, you need vibes, you need to live." After Kazim left, trailing expensive cologne that probably cost more than Emeka's monthly income and smelled like financial irresponsibility mixed with bad decisions, Tunde turned to Emeka with serious eyes. "Don't do it." "Don't do what?" "Don't join that group. I'm telling you as your friend, as your brother, that Kazim is trouble. Can't you see it? Everything about him is too perfect, too shiny, like a new car with no engine. All packaging, no content. Something is wrong." "You're just jealous," Emeka said, and immediately regretted it when he saw Tunde's face. "Jealous? Me?" Tunde's voice was quiet but firm. "Emeka, I'm trying to save you from yourself. That man is selling dreams and you are buying them with money you don't have. He's like a roadside seller shouting, 'Original designer,' when you know very well everything is from a bar market. Think about Daisy. Think about your children."
My wife will understand. She always understands. You're just afraid to live a little. You're stuck in your boring life of climbing trees and tapping palm wine like our grandfathers. "No," Tunde said, standing up. "I'm afraid to be stupid. There's a difference. I'm afraid to trade my wife's respect for cold beer and fake gold chains. I'm afraid to become the village cautionary tale that mothers tell their sons about. But you're a grown man. Do what you want. Just don't say I didn't warn you." And he walked away, leaving Emeka sitting alone under the Iroko tree, his pride wounded but his determination hardened. That evening, Emeka told Adaeze about the executive council. She was stirring soup, her back turned. "You want to join Kazim's group," she said, not a question, a statement. The same way you say it's raining when you can hear the rain on the roof.
Just for small enjoyment, December only, nothing serious. Adarize kept staring. The silence stretched like rubber band, like awkward silence at a funeral, like the pause before your mother finishes counting to 3. Tunde said not to do it, Emeka added, somehow hoping this would help. Tunde is a wise man, Adaize said quietly. You should listen to him. But if that's what you want, Emeka, do it. You are a grown man. Her voice was so soft, so resigned, that Emeka should have heard the danger in it. It was the kind of soft voice that comes before thunder, the kind of okay that actually means you will regret this but go ahead. Should have heard the sadness, should have stopped right there, but he didn't. Thank you for understanding, he said cheerfully, completely missing how her shoulders had tensed, how her staring had slowed, how she'd closed her eyes for just a moment like she was preparing for a storm.
December 15th arrived like a party that nobody asked for, but everyone noticed. The Executive Council's first meeting was everything Emeka had imagined and more. Generator humming like it was singing a love song, DJ playing like his life depended on it, drinks flowing like the village river during rainy season. Gentlemen, Kazim announced, standing on a table like a politician about to make promises he wouldn't keep. Welcome to Detty December. Tonight, we drink like kings. Small contribution, 10,000 naira each. 10,000 naira. Emeka's stomach didn't just drop, it fell through the floor, went to the basement and started digging to China. His children's school fees. But everyone else was bringing out money, laughing, and Kazim was looking at him expectantly, looking at him the way a debt collector looks at someone who owes money. Emeka paid. His hands shook like he was operating heavy machinery, but he paid. That night, he drank, he danced, he laughed. Men called him my guy and sharp guy. He felt alive. He felt important. He felt like he belonged. He felt like Beyoncé at the Grammys, like Burna Boy at Coachella, like a big man who had finally arrived. He stumbled home at 3 a.m. and Adeze was awake, sitting in the dark, sitting there like a judge waiting to give a verdict, like a teacher waiting for your excuse about why you didn't do your homework. Did you enjoy yourself? She asked quietly. Yes, it was amazing. You should have seen. I'm glad, she said, and went to bed. Emeka should have noticed she didn't ask any more questions, should have noticed she didn't smile, should have noticed the temperature in the room had dropped to freezing point. But he didn't notice anything because his head was still spinning with alcohol and fake importance. The next morning, Tunde came to the farm. So you went? Yes, I went, and it was fantastic. You should have been there. How much did you pay? What? How much did Kazim collect from you? Emeka hesitated like a student who didn't do his homework, trying to remember the excuse he prepared. 10,000, but it was worth it. 10,000 naira? Tunde's voice rose. Your children's school fees? Emeka, what are you doing? Have you lost your mind? Did you fall and hit your head? Did a mosquito bite your brain? You don't understand. You're not there. You don't see how these men live. I finally feel like somebody. You were already somebody. You were a husband, a father, a good man. A poor man, Emeka shouted. A village yam farmer that nobody respects. The type of man that people see and say, hey, yeah, poor thing. I'm tired of being invisible. Tunde looked at him for a long moment, looked at him the way you look at a pot of soup that's about to burn because you can smell the smoke, but the person cooking can't. Your wife respects you. Your children respect you, but you want respect from strangers who don't even know your children's names? You want respect from men who probably can't spell your children's names? That's not ambition, Emeka. That's foolishness. Pure, unfiltered, organic foolishness. If you are just here to insult me, you can leave. I'm here because I'm your friend, because I can see what you can't see. That Kazim is using you like a cheap phone charger, using you until you are finished, then throwing you away. All of you, but you are too blinded by cold beer and fake compliments to notice. You are just jealous that they chose me and not you. Tunde shook his head sadly, like a teacher who just realized his student would never pass the exam. I'll be here when you fall, my brother, and you will fall. You will fall like Humpty Dumpty, like a bad network connection, like my hopes for your common sense. I just pray it won't be too late when you do. He walked away, And Emeka stood there, anger and doubt fighting in his chest, but the anger won.
Days passed and turned into a week. December 16th, another party, another contribution, 5,000 naira. Emeka paid. December 18th, emergency DJ payment, 8,000 naira. Emeka borrowed from his cousin, spinning a story about urgent farm expenses that sounded believable until you thought about it for 5 seconds. Tunde came to see him again. The man was persistent, like mosquito, like debt collector, like that cough that refuses to go away. I'm begging you, stop this before it's too late. I saw Adaeze at the market today. She was crying, Emeka. Your wife, the woman who never cries, the woman who smiled through your broke days, through your struggling days, she was crying while trying to figure out how to feed your children with the little money she has left. She was staring at tomatoes like they held the secrets of the universe, calculating how to make miracles happen. She's fine. She's not fine. She's the opposite of fine. She's like fine's evil twin. And you know what else? I've been asking around about Kazim. Nobody knows what he does in Lagos. His own cousin, his own blood, said he's been running from debt like Usain Bolt runs from poverty. That gold chain, it's turning his neck green like he's transforming into the Hulk. It's fake, Emeka. Everything about him is fake. The man is catfish in human form. You are lying because you want me to quit. I'm telling you the truth because I love you like a brother. I love you more than I love money, more than I love cold beer, more than I love correct network signal. But you can't see it. You're so desperate to belong to something that you can't see you're destroying what you already have. They argued, they shouted, and for the first time in 15 years of friendship, Emeka told Tunde to leave his house and not come back. Tunde left, but not before saying, when you realize I was right, I'll still be your friend, but I won't watch you destroy yourself anymore. I can't. At home, things got worse. By December 20th, Adaeze had stopped buying meat, then fish, then even vegetables became a luxury. She cooked plain gari, plain rice. The children asked, Mama, where is the stew? And she would smile that heartbreaking smile and say, tomorrow, big meat tomorrow. But tomorrow never came. Emeka's mother called. My medicine money. When are you sending it? Soon, Mama. Very soon, he lied. That night, another party. Another contribution. He borrowed from a moneylender at interest rates that made his head spin. But he paid, because what would people say if he stopped now? Adaeze stopped talking to him. She would cook, set his food down, and walk away without a word. The silence in his house was louder than any shouting. Their eldest daughter stopped running to him when he came home. She would just look at him with sad eyes that broke something inside him, then look away. December 23rd, Emeka came home to complete darkness. The electricity bill, Adaeze said when she saw him standing in the doorway. They cut it this morning. I couldn't pay. The children were sitting outside crying softly. Papa, I'm hungry, his daughter whispered, and those 3 words hit him harder than any punch ever could. I'll fix it, he stammered. With what money, Emeka? Adaeve's voice wasn't angry. It was worse. It was tired, defeated. The money you are drinking away every night? Our daughter asked me today, if you still love us, what should I tell her? Emeka opened his mouth, but no words came out. What could he say? That night, there was supposed to be another planning meeting at Mama Caro's, but for the first time, Emeka didn't want to go. But he'd already told Kazim he was coming. He'd already paid. So he went, dragging himself there like a man walking to his own funeral.
He arrived early. Kazim wasn't there yet. Emeka stood outside, listening to his own thoughts for the first time in weeks, and they were all screaming at him. Then he heard a voice from behind the building. Kazim's voice, on the phone. But this wasn't the confident, booming voice he knew. This was Best Spirit. Brother, please now, I beg you in the name of God.
Kazim was pleading. Give me till January. I'm looking for the money. I swear I'll pay you back. No, don't come to the village. I'm gathering it. These village people, I'm collecting from them small. Yes, contributions for party. They don't know. Nobody knows. Emeka felt ice water pour down his spine. He moved closer, hiding, listening. The Christmas Eve party tomorrow, I'll collect final contribution, 15,000 each from about 10 men. That's 150,000 naira. I'll send you 100,000 and keep 50,000. There's no real party, just small gathering. I just need to pay you people back. These village fools, show them small shine. They'll follow you anywhere. The gold chain, spray paint. The shipment from Dubai, I bought one shirt from Yaba Market. Everything is packaging. Emeka felt like the ground was disappearing beneath him. Everything Tunde said, everything his wife tried to warn him about without words, everything he'd been too proud and too blind to see, it was all true. Kazim was a fraud, a complete fraud. Every kobo he'd contributed, every borrowed naira, every sacrifice his family made, it was all going to pay Kazim's debts. There was no executive council. There was no brotherhood. There was just a con man and his victims. Emeka walked away in a daze. He didn't go to the meeting. He walked straight to Tunde's house and knocked on the door. When Tunde opened it, Emeka fell to his knees right there. You were right, Tunde, about everything. You were right and I was a fool, the biggest fool in this village, in this world. Tunde pulled him up, helped him inside. Tell me what happened. Through tears and shame, Emeka told him everything. About the phone call, about Kazim's lies, about how he destroyed his family for a complete fraud. I should have listened to you, Tunde. You tried to warn me and I called you jealous. You tried to save me and I pushed you away. What kind of friend am I? What kind of man am I?
You are a man who made a mistake, Tunde said quietly. A big one. But you're still my brother. Now go home. Go home to your wife and children. That's where you should have been all along. What do I say to her? How do I fix this? You start with the truth. You start with, I'm sorry, and then you spend the rest of your life proving it. Emeka walked home and every step felt like carrying stones. He found Adaze sitting outside in the dark with the children. When she saw him, she didn't say anything, just looked at him with eyes that had given up hoping. Emeka knelt down in front of her, right there in the dirt, in front of his children, in front of any neighbor who cared to watch. He knelt like a man begging for his life. I'm sorry, he said, and tears poured down his face like rain. I've been a fool, the biggest fool. I've been wicked. I've been selfish. I've been the worst husband, the worst father. You tried to warn me. Tunde tried to warn me, but I was too proud, too stupid, too desperate to belong to something that I didn't see I was destroying what I already belonged to. Kazim has been scamming us, all of us, every contribution, every payment. It was all going to pay his own debts in Lagos. There was never any party, never any brotherhood. It was all lies. And I fell for it because I wanted to feel important. I wanted to feel like I was more than just a village yam farmer. But I was already important. I was important to you, to them, and I threw that away for fake gold chains and fake respect from fake friends. Adaze was crying now too, silent tears running down her face. Your daughter asked me if you still loved us, she said, her voice breaking. 8 years old, and she's wondering if her father loves her anymore. That's what you did, Emeka. You made your children doubt your love.
Emeka looked at his daughter, and the pain in his chest was physical. I love you, he said to her, his voice raw. Papa made a terrible mistake. Papa was stupid and proud and foolish, but I love you more than anything in this world. I love all of you more than cold beer, more than parties, more than belonging to any group. You are my group. You are my counsel. You are my everything. And I almost lost you because I forgot that. He turned back to Adaeze.
I don't deserve you. I know that. You could leave me and nobody would blame you. But I'm begging you, give me one more chance. Just one. I'll work 3 jobs. I'll sell everything I have. I'll pay back every debt. I'll spend the rest of my life proving to you that I choose you, that I choose them. Every single day, I'll choose you. Please, please don't give up on me yet. Adaize looked at him for a long time. The children were watching, holding their breath. Finally, she spoke, and her voice was firm despite the tears. Love is not a feeling, Emeka. Love is a choice. Every single day, you have to choose us. Not when it's convenient, not when you run out of other options. Every day. If I give you this chance, you have to choose us. Can you do that? Yes, Emeka said desperately, fervently, like a man making a vow before God. Yes, I choose you. I choose them. Starting right now, this moment, I choose you. And I'll keep choosing you every day for the rest of my life. I swear it. Adaize closed her eyes, fresh tears falling. Then she nodded. Just a small nod, but to Emeka, it felt like being pulled back from the edge of a cliff. She wasn't smiling. She wasn't saying everything was okay, but she was giving him a chance. One more chance to be the man she married. One more chance to be the father her children deserved. Christmas Eve came, and while other men were gathering at Mama Caro, waiting for a party that would never happen, waiting for a DJ that didn't exist, slowly realizing they'd been scammed, Emeka was at home. He sat on the floor with his children, his house still dark because he couldn't afford to restore the electricity yet, and he told them stories. Not about parties or executive councils, just simple stories about the village, about their grandfather, about when their mother was young.
Adaize watched from the doorway, and for the first time in weeks, she saw her husband. Really saw him. Not the man trying to be someone else, but the man she married. It would take time. It would take work. It would take him proving every single day that he meant what he said. But maybe, just maybe, they would be okay. Later that night, Tunde came by with a small bag of rice and some dried fish. For the children, he said. Emeka hugged his friend and they both cried. "Thank you," Emeka said, "for not giving up on me even when I gave up on myself." "That's what brothers do," Tunde replied. "Now you just have to make sure this lesson sticks." From Mama Caro's bar, they could hear angry voices. Men who just realized Kazim had disappeared. Men who just calculated how much money was gone. Men who just understood they'd been duped. But Emeka wasn't there. He was home, where he should have been all along, sitting with his family in the darkness, finally understanding that the light he'd been chasing was already inside his own house all along.
If you enjoyed this story, like, share, and subscribe, besties. See you in the next story.